So at around this time last year, I bought myself a feature phone, the Nokia 105, and it has been interesting to say the very least. For most of the time, I use it as my secondary phone, but in some occasions, it was my main phone, and comparing it to a smartphone, it has some pros and cons too. So in this video, I'm going to start with the phone specifications, and then head to the advantages and then the disadvantages of using a feature phone or a dumb phone in 2021. I've also left timestamps if you want to skip to a particular part or a particular point in the video. So what's up guys, how are you doing? Hope you're having a nice day. I'm Milan and welcome back to Physitech. If you're new here, welcome too, and I promise you that you won't regret it. Anyways, going straight ahead to the phone specs. So this is the Nokia 105 that was released in 2019 at around September there. So it's not that old, and it's quite a tiny phone with a display of 1.77 inches but has a thickness of 14.4 millimeters, which is literally twice the size of that of an average smartphone in 2021, the thickness here. It also has a small removable battery of 800 milliamps, 4 MB RAM and 4 MB ROM. It does not have any internet connectivity whatsoever, no SD card, so it can't play or have media in it, but it has a 3.5mm headphone jack for the radio. I bought it at around $17, which is nothing compared to the phones of today. And as I said earlier, my experience with it was sort of mixed, with some good things, then again some bad things. So starting with the advantages, first off, it's longer lasting battery life. Yes, the battery is only 800 milliamps, and that number is incomparable to the current 4000 to 5000 and even 6000 milliamps, which is on smartphones today. But smartphones come with large screens, they do a lot of tasks in the background, they have a lot of apps that give notifications all day while vibrating and all that stuff. They have Bluetooth, location on, Wi-Fi or mobile data on, and all these things use a lot of power, hence taking a toll of the battery, so they drain the battery real quick. An average person charges their smartphone twice or thrice within a 24-hour period. And with this phone, I charge it like once or twice a week and I have no problems with low battery at all. In addition, when charging, the phone, let's say with a 10 or 15 watt charger, it takes a very short time due to its small capacity. And also all feature phones, they have removable batteries, and so if the battery spoils or the capacity drops or something, it's easier to replace than a smartphone which is non-removable. Using a dumb phone is also simpler and very minimalist. You don't need to learn how to use it. It's pretty simple and straightforward. You probably have seen videos of people, let's say, switching from an iPhone to an Android, or an Android to an iPhone, or even just an Android to an Android, Samsung to OnePlus maybe, and they have said that they took some more time to get adjusted to, let's say, the UI of the new phone. Yes, so with a phone like this, there's no complicated mode or a different experience. It's just simple. Just get your contacts, your phone, messages, some simple games, basic settings, and that's all. You don't even need to learn to be able to use the phone. Even when unlocking the phone, you just unlock it. It doesn't get easier than that. Now, of course, with the simplicity of the phone, you get less apps, hence close to zero distractions. Let me just give you an example. So today was quite a busy day for me, so I didn't use my smartphone that much compared to other days or other days of the week. But just checking my screen time with the apps that I had on, I had 2 hours and 16 minutes on Twitter, 1 hour and 50 minutes on WhatsApp, 1 hour and 42 minutes on Instagram, 1 hour and 12 minutes on Chrome, 1 hour 8 minutes on YouTube, and so on and so forth. So in total, I had around 10 hours of screen time on a day. Anyways, with the feature phone, you don't get all these apps. So imagine an extra 10 hours of your day for 7 days a week. Those are like 70 hours. Now, any human being with an extra 70 hours a week can do something very productive and can even earn from it. So you can get to do this when having a feature phone. Another advantage is that when you get using a feature phone is saving money. Now, let me give you an example of the iPhone. Apple have got their own ecosystem where you spend a good amount of money just operating within it, from services like Apple Music and whatnot. And also with any smartphone, you get to buy data plans and they cost a substantial amount of money. Another thing is the price alone of the phones. They vary it's a very different category. So remember, I got this phone for $17, And with smartphones, we have $200 phones, $500 phones, $700 phones, $1,000 phones, and more and more and more. The price difference alone just tells it all. With a feature phone, you just get to save a lot of money generally. Now, this doesn't mean that it's a bed of roses when using a feature phone. There's a lot of disadvantages that you get when not using a smartphone, or let's say when you're stuck with the feature phone. In the early 2000s, phones were just communication devices. Nowadays, smartphones in particular have become essential services and have been integrated to be parts of our daily lives. We have now been conditioned to be so reliant on smartphones that not having one, it seems more difficult than usual. So some of these are the disadvantages faced when using a feature phone, especially as a primary phone or as your main phone. Now, first off is the lack of social media. I know that I've mentioned that a lot of Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok takes a lot of our time, but they're also important too. For example, all of my news I get from Twitter. Most of my learning I get, let's say, from YouTube. Most of my communication is from WhatsApp, and so on and so forth. So I can personally say that I need those apps because I'll miss some important things if I don't have them. And with the damn phone, you don't get stuff like that. The only way of communication is through messages or phone calls. And the only way of getting news is through the radio. And let's be honest, it's really hard to listen to the radio just for news. So I can say that with the feature phone only as my only phone, I'll miss out on some important stuff. Our phone cameras have also been part of our lives so much that currently most people use their phones to take photos and videos. Furthermore, phone cameras have improved greatly that there seems to be no need to get an expensive camera when the pictures that you take with your phone satisfy you. Most damn phones lack cameras, and if they have cameras, the photos that they take look like they're from a pinhole camera. This is because the quality is so bad, since no one buys a feature phone for its camera, at least these days. So with this phone, you don't get a camera with it, and so it's really hard. It gets really hard. Also, if you haven't noticed, this phone is extremely small with a display of 1.77 inches. So the phone is tiny. After being used to the QWERTY keyboards on our screens, pressing one button twice or thrice just to get a letter seems to be a lot of work. Then again, the buttons are so close together that so you may end up pressing the wrong button, so starting all over again, it's just irritating. This Nokia 105 is so tiny that I use the tips of my fingers to hold it even when in a call, since the hand to phone ratio isn't okay. It's very tiny. So basically, with a small phone like this, it takes you quite a bit to get used to it, especially if you're used to smartphones already with larger screens of 5, 6, 7 inches maybe. Finally, and this is from my personal experience, I'm not even sure if it's only this model, but this phone doesn't have a good volume system. When in a call, most of the time I have to struggle so that I could hear what the other person is saying. Even in loudspeaker, I struggle to hear, but I think that it's this model's issue only. And also issues like this, let's say if they were in a smartphone, they could be solved with a software update if it were a smartphone. So those are all the disadvantages that I had today, advantages and disadvantages that I had today. Now, these pros and cons aren't even a quarter of what the list should look like. These are just the main ones that I thought I should show you guys. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'm Milan and this is PhysiTech. And for all new viewers, if you like the video and want more of them like this, just leave a sub. And also thanks for those of you who subscribe. That's all for today, and I hope you have an incredible day. See you next time. Peace.